Here's your wrestling news for August 18th, 2021. And your headlines for today include WWE reportedly considering Raw on the Roof and more off-site events. Seth Rollins upset over John Cena saying Roman Reigns ruined him. Why WWE is keeping Keith Lee off television with dark matches. How Ric Flair's presence at Triple Mania changed match finish. Is WWE planning to send AJ Styles back to NXT? Big name in MMA claims he's never heard of Roman Reigns. WWE settles a huge, long-standing lawsuit. Released WWE wrestler drops video tease for rumored AEW debut. Save this tweet. Batista makes bold prediction about CM Punk's future. Goldberg calls Riddle a prick who he appreciates as an athlete and a human. Goldberg eyes his next opponent after WWE SummerSlam, and more. We are kicking off today not with wrestling, but with Major League Baseball, which hosted a special Field of Dreams game last week in the eponymous field in Dyersville, Iowa. This match between the Chicago White Sox and the New York Yankees was the most watched regular season broadcast in 16 years for Major League Baseball and has given Vince McMahon some serious ideas. That's according to WrestleVotes, who report that WWE officials are in the early stages of talks for off-site events in 2022, shows that it happen in locations outside traditional venues. Several ideas are being pitched, including a return to the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York, which hosted several ECW events, more direct festival shows like Rolling Loud, and a Raw on the Roof special, which should see the show take place on top of WWE headquarters like Money in the Bank last year. Right now, no plans have been confirmed, and these discussions are still in the early phase, but next year's shows may be taking place in some very interesting locations. On the most recent episode of SmackDown, John Cena and Roman Reigns had a masterclass of a promo, and neither man held back about the other's career. During the segment, Cena said that Reigns had ruined Seth Rollins and chased Dean Ambrose out of WWE in a line the crowd and Vince McMahon loved, but Rollins didn't. Speaking on a conference call to promote SummerSlam, Rollins admitted he didn't appreciate his name being dragged up. He said, "Roman Reigns doesn't dictate what I do in the ring, never has been, never will be. Roman Reigns doesn't dictate my failures or my successes. Roman Reigns can't make me, just like Roman Reigns can't ruin me. So I think that's the only part of it that I kinda like, not my favorite thing. That's his thing, he has to use my name to fill his narrative, that's fine, that's his prerogative. I would do the same thing if I were in his position with his name. That's the nature of the business. That's how we sell tickets, and that's how we get people talking." Although Rollins didn't appreciate his name being brought up, he did enjoy some of last Friday's show, as he had a good chuckle over the line about Dean Ambrose, aka AEW's Jon Moxley. The former Universal Champion added that Moxley likes to cross the line as seen in his promos, so it makes sense that Cena would cross the line by referencing the AEW star. Rollins knows all about facing both Cena and Reigns and is set to take on Edge at SummerSlam, but the Friday Night Messiah would rather the Universal Champion and Challenger keep his name out of their mouths. Over to Raw now, and after a shaky return to programming, Keith Lee is picking up wins once more, but fans at home aren't seeing these victories. Lee's last 4 matches, all victories, have been dark matches, with Lee squashing his opponents before Raw and SmackDown go live. This isn't the kind of return fans had hoped for the Limitless One, but there's a reason for these short, non-televised matches. As PW Insider explains, the dark matches are designed as being short squashes for Lee and have taken place as a way to refine Lee and decide what works best for him going forward. Lee's hiatus, which was due to a near-fatal blood infection, kept him from TV for over 5 months, but WWE is going to keep him competing in dark matches until they figure out how to repackage the former NXT champion. AEW news now, as the first episode of Rampage didn't go as Kenny Omega had hoped, as he lost the Impact World title to Christian Cage. The belt collector is no longer Impact World Champion, but he's still AAA's Mega Champion after retaining his title against Andrade El Idolo at Triple Mania. We already reported how the original plan was for Omega to lose the title to Andrade before AEW nixed that idea, but losing the title was something the cleaner was happy to do. During Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer revealed that Omega even offered to lose the title once he found out Ric Flair would be involved in the match, as he hadn't been aware that the Nature Boy was even present beforehand. Tony Khan eventually warmed to the idea of Omega losing, but at this point, it was AAA's Dorian Roldan who insisted on Omega keeping the gold, believing that the Canadian will be a huge draw for the next title match, which is expected to be against Psycho Clown. As for Flair, he's expected to be joining AEW as soon as he can, and merely his presence last week nearly caused a huge title change and victory for his future son-in-law. Speaking of Rampage, this Friday's show will reportedly mark the debut of CM Punk, but he, like everyone else there, will be wearing a mask. That's because of the rising case numbers, which has led Chicago city officials to declare a mandatory mask mandate for everyone indoors. The date this mandate goes into effect is August 20th, the same as this Friday's Rampage, and it doesn't take into consideration whether someone is vaccinated or not. We'll have to see how this goes, as mask mandates can be a rather controversial topic, but right now, Chicago is doing everything they can to keep numbers down. As a WWE Grand Slam champion, AJ Styles has proven himself to be one of the company's top stars in the 5 years since his shocking 2016 debut, but there are still some things the Phenomenal One has yet to accomplish. Despite competing on both Raw and SmackDown, Styles has never competed in NXT, and in an interview with Sports Matters, Samoa Joe said that the long-awaited rematch between them may happen on the Gold brand. AJ Styles is walking around with that big meal ticket he's got with him right now. I don't know, he might not be too keen to get in a real fight these days, you know? I need to find me an Omos, man. He's got a really good gig going on. I'm a little jealous, to be honest. He's figured out something great, but you know, absolutely, I would like to wrestle Styles in NXT. I think that the never-ending war between me and AJ will always continue, and he's always expressed to people that he'd love to do a little stint in NXT. Come over and have some fun. So, like I said, in this chaotic world, no one knows what the future holds. Joe went on to claim that not only has Styles told him about his desire to wrestle in NXT, but that the Phenomenal One has told plenty of people backstage that he wants a stint in the Gold brand. Joe and Styles have faced off in WWE before, and in Impact Wrestling before then, and with Joe set to make his in-ring return after over a year away at this Sunday's TakeOver 36, as well as Styles wanting to have a run in NXT too, a match between them seems to be a question of not if, but when. MMA news now, as Dustin Poirier is one of the most distinguished fighters right now, as his 2 victories over Conor McGregor have elevated his career to new heights, but that doesn't mean he keeps up with WWE. Speaking to Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour, Poirier was asked if he knew who Roman Reigns was, and said that he didn't, but he definitely knew Reigns' SummerSlam opponent, John Cena. There's plenty of MMA fighters who are well aware of WWE and watch the product, but Poirier isn't one of them, and perhaps he'll know who the head of the table is after this Saturday's match with Cena at SummerSlam. Back to WWE, and not too long ago, a lawsuit was filed against the company, claiming that they'd wasted corporate assets, made false claims, and failed to disclose the status of their deal with Saudi Arabia. Referred to as improper stock trading in the suit itself, the claim is that WWE sold their stock using information they didn't reveal to investors, linked to their work in the Middle Eastern nation. It's now been confirmed that a settlement has been reached, and that in addition to paying an undisclosed fee, they must also pay the fees for the claimant's attorneys and reimburse expenses as well. In return, WWE will receive, quote, a full release of defendants in connection with all allegations made in the actions, though they must implement certain corporate measures to make sure this doesn't happen again. It isn't said how much of the original $300 million claim WWE will have to pay out, but with the company set to return to Saudi Arabia later this year, they should be careful to avoid yet another lawsuit about their controversial deal. More from AEW, as Ruby Soho, formerly WWE's Ruby Riott, is reportedly a person of great interest for the company. Ruby hasn't been taking indie bookings as of late, a big sign that she's signed to a company, and now the former Riott Squad member has given a tease of her own. In a video, Soho can be seen traveling from Orlando, where the WWE's Performance Center is, to New York City, which will host AEW's Grand Slam Dynamite special at Arthur Ashe Stadium on September 22nd. It's possible that Ruby could be debuting even sooner, as her non-compete clause ends on August 31st, mere days before AEW All Out, which Tony Khan has said will feature a women's casino battle royal. Ruby Soho could make one great wildcard entry if she does appear at All Out, but whether it's September 5th or the 22nd, it appears the former superstar is indeed All Elite. CM Punk is another big name expected to debut for AEW, but whether that happens or not, fans can already see the former WWE superstar in several film and TV projects. Not only is Punk in the new Starz series Heels, but he's earned major praise for his role in films like Jacob's Wife and Girl on the Third Floor, and could soon be moving on to even bigger projects. That's if Dave Bautista is correct, as on Twitter, he made the bold claim that Punk will be a bigger name in films than he was in wrestling, saying that the Chicago-made wrestler's acting talent is obvious. Bautista certainly knows about breaking into the movie business after wrestling, and encouraged everyone to save his tweet, as he has huge expectations for Punk on the silver screen. Now, it's no secret that Riddle has had a beef with several wrestlers from the past, most noticeably Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg. Infamously calling the Hall of Famer the worst wrestler ever, the pair have a somewhat professional relationship these days, according to Goldberg himself. Speaking to DAZN, the Hall of Famer discussed Riddle and how they don't get along as people, but as colleagues. He said, "The cocky kid, Riddle, spouting off his mouth, I didn't appreciate it by any stretch of the imagination. But the guy has put in a lot of frickin' hard work and a lot of hard work, and he's dedicated his life to this business. Whether I like him as a human being or not, I have to understand and appreciate his passion for the business and his work ethic, because he works hard, and that I appreciate as an athlete." Riddle and Goldberg probably won't be sharing Christmas cards, but they're able to at least be in the same venue, even if they can't stand each other on a personal level. And we're ending with more Goldberg news, as the former Universal Champion isn't expected to compete in 2021 after SummerSlam, as his current contract allows him to have just 2 matches a year. This Saturday's match with Bobby Lashley will probably be Goldberg's last match this year, but in the same interview with DAZN, the Hall of Famer showed he's already weighing up his next opponent. He said, "John Cena, that's always been a dream match. Never been in the ring with him. We're 2 completely different characters. Hey, you never know, you never know." There's obvious challenges for this feud, as Goldberg is on a part-time Legends contract and Cena's budding Hollywood career is making him especially difficult for WWE to book. Fans may indeed be waiting until SummerSlam 2022 before this match happens, if it ever does, but no matter how long he has to wait, Bill Goldberg has said that the 16-time WWE World Champion is next. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.